Right now, as we watch the ticker tape scream across the screen, the share price for Ambition's Enterprise Management Co LLC, trading under the ticker AHMA on the NASDAQ, is sitting at exactly $11.71 USD. That represents a staggering, almost gravity-defying intraday gain of $6.90, which translates to a massive 143.45% upward move just for today. If you are looking at your screen wondering if your data feed is broken, it is not. This is one of those rare lightning strike moments in the market where a relatively obscure name suddenly wakes up and decides to command the attention of the entire financial world. The volume we are seeing is absolutely relentless, with tens of millions of shares changing hands in a frenzy that makes the usual activity on major indices look like a standstill. When you see a stock more than double in a single session, it forces you to stop everything and ask the hard questions about what is actually driving this price action. Most investors expect a company like Ambition's Enterprise Management, which operates in the event planning and tourism sector within the United Arab Emirates, to move with the slow, steady rhythm of a traditional service business. The general assumption, the expectation, is that a firm focused on MICE services, meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions, would trade based on quarterly earnings, slow contract wins, and seasonal tourism trends. You might expect a 2% or 3% move on good news, perhaps 5% if they announce a major partnership. That is the rational expectation. The reality, however, is shattering that framework entirely. What we are witnessing today is not just a business victory, it's a violent repricing event driven by a perfect storm of low-float mechanics, a massive catalyst involving the World Chinese Entrepreneurs Convention, and a sudden influx of retail and institutional liquidity that has completely overwhelmed the sell-side order book. The reality is that AHMA has transformed from a quiet tourism play into a high-octane momentum engine that is currently outperforming virtually every other asset class on the market today. To understand why this is happening, we have to look closely at the texture of today's trading. The stock opened significantly higher, already signaling that the market had digested the recent news overnight. But the buying pressure did not fade after the bell. Instead, it accelerated. We are seeing a classic supply-demand imbalance where the available shares, the float, are simply not sufficient to satisfy the roaring demand from traders who were chasing this breakout. When you look at the charts, the verticality of the move is reminiscent of the legendary volatility we have seen in names like Tesla stock during its most aggressive rallies, or even the early days of the Nvidia stock breakout. However, unlike those mega caps, which require billions of dollars of capital to move a few percentage points, AHMA is a smaller vessel in a turbulent ocean, meaning that the same amount of buying pressure sends it skyrocketing much faster. This is the definition of high beta, high risk, high reward trading that draws eyes away from steady performers like Apple stock and pulls them right into the eye of the storm. Let's talk about the specific catalyst that lit the fuse. The company recently announced that its subsidiary, Multiple Events LLC, was named the preferred executive service partner for the 19th World Chinese Entrepreneurs Convention. Now, on the surface, this sounds like a standard corporate press release. But if you analyze the scale of this event, the reaction makes more sense. We're talking about thousands of high-net-worth individuals, business leaders, and entrepreneurs converging in one location, with Ambition's Enterprise Management positioned as the gatekeeper for their logistical and service needs. This is not just a contract, it's a validation of their status in the UAE market. It signals to the market that this company can handle Tier 1 global events, which instantly upgrades their perceived future cash flows. The market is effectively pricing in years of future growth into a single trading session, causing this explosive valuation reset. Now, before we go further, I want to pause and ask you directly. Comment below how many shares of Ambition's Enterprise Management you currently hold, or if you're watching from the sidelines, tell me what price you would be willing to enter at. Are you chasing the momentum, or are you waiting for the dust to settle? When we analyze the market structure supporting this move, it's fascinating to see how modern trading platforms facilitate this kind of velocity. In the past, accessing a rapidly moving NASDAQ small cap might have been slower or more expensive for the average person. Today, however, you have millions of traders on the Robinhood app or using Robinhood's stock trading features to instantly jump into the fray. The friction is gone. If a trader sees a stock up 100%, the fear of missing out kicks in, and with a few taps on their mobile device, they add fuel to the fire. This accessibility is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows for true price discovery at light speed. On the other, it can create overshoots where the price disconnects from fundamentals. We see similar dynamics with users on SoFi Invest, where the social aspect of SoFi investing allows ideas to spread like wildfire. Whether you're using the SoFi active investing tools or just monitoring your SoFi stocks, the visibility of these top movers is higher than ever before. This brings us to the company itself. Ambition's Enterprise Management Co LLC is not a technology firm or a biotech startup. It's a service provider rooted in the real economy of Dubai and the UAE. Their business model revolves around the MICE industry. This acronym, Meetings, Incentives, Conferences, and Exhibitions, is a massive sector in the Middle East. Dubai has positioned itself as a global hub for business tourism, and companies like Ambitions are the infrastructure that makes that possible. They handle everything from the complex logistics of getting thousands of people into a venue to the travel arrangements, visa processing, and accommodation. It's a capital-intensive, operationally complex business that requires deep local knowledge. By securing the contract for the Chinese Entrepreneurs Convention, they have proven they have the operational chops to compete with major global players. This is significant because the UAE is aggressively diversifying its economy away from oil and into tourism and services. Ambitions is effectively a levered bet on the growth of Dubai as a global business sanctuary. But we must balance this excitement with a cold look at the numbers. Prior to this explosion, the company was a microcap with relatively modest revenue figures. The jump to $11.71 implies a market capitalization that is now multiples higher than it was just last week. Investors are paying a premium for future execution, not just past results. If you are using a platform like Interactive Brokers to analyze the order flow, you might notice that the bid-ask spread is widening at times, a sign that liquidity can dry up just as fast as it appeared. Interactive Brokers trading platforms often attract sophisticated traders who might be looking to short this move if it extends too far, adding another layer of tension to the price action. It's crucial to check the Interactive Brokers' fees and margin requirements if you're trading this, as volatility often leads to increased margin requirements from brokers. This is where the concept of investment help and self-investing becomes critical. In a market moving this fast, you can't rely solely on headlines. You need to understand the mechanics. For instance, if you're managing your capital through Fidelity Investments, you might have access to deeper research reports or the Fidelity trading platform, which can offer Level 2 data. Seeing the depth of the order book is essential when a stock is up 140%. You need to know if there is a wall of sellers at $12 or if the path is clear to $15. Investors using Fidelity ETFs or Fidelity mutual funds generally avoid this kind of volatility, but for the individual trader using the Fidelity mobile app, this is the kind of action that defines a trading year. The contrast between the stability of Fidelity Wealth Management and the chaos of a ticker like AHMA today is stark. Let's look deeper into the reality phase of our analysis. The reality is that while the news is good, the move is technically overextended. A 143% move in a single day consumes a massive amount of buying power. For the price to sustain these levels, the company will need to follow up this announcement with concrete numbers. How much revenue will this convention actually generate? What are the margins? If the margins are thin, the revenue might not translate to the bottom line, and the stock could deflate as quickly as it inflates.